Hello and welcome to the channel. So in today's episode, we'll be diving into the topic of English pronunciation. And pronunciation is a very important aspect of the language because if you are holding a conversation with a native speaker, they won't take you seriously unless your pronunciation is correct at least. You don't have to be adopting a certain accent. Even if you speak with an accent, that's fine. But the thing is, your pronunciation needs to be correct for the native speaker to take you seriously. And at the same time, to be able to convey and put across your ideas to the other person speaking to you, you have to master pronunciation. If you mispronounce a word, the meaning might change. And if the meaning changes, you will put across a wrong idea about what you want to say to the other speaker. So it's pretty important that you focus with me today in today's episode because this is a foundational episode about English pronunciation. It sets a grounding for you in this field. Right, so as we begin, we have to understand some key differences. What is the difference between a letter and a sound? Well, in English, we have 26 letters in the English alphabet. Those are the letters in English, A, B, C, D, and so on. So we have 26 of those. But this doesn't mean that in English we have 26 sounds. As a matter of fact, there are more than 40 sounds in English. So although we have only 26 letters, we have more than 40 sounds, and we will be discussing them later in today's video. So as I said, the English alphabet has 26 letters. 5 of these letters are vowel letters. These are A, E, I, O, and U. So these are the 5 letters in the English alphabet. You take them out from the 26 letters making the English alphabet and you're left with 21 consonant letters. Consonant letters like D, like G, like N, like S, and so on. Right, so 26 letters, 5 of them are vowels, and the remaining ones are consonants. In some words in English, we might have an equal number of letters and sounds. For example, a word like best. This is a very famous word in English, best. You hear someone saying, I am the best golfer in town, for example. So best as a word, it consists of 4 letters. These are B, E, S, and T. At the same time, it contains 4 sounds. So the number of sounds in this word is similar to the number of letters. You have the sound B and the sound E for the letter E and the sound S for the letter S and the sound T for the letter T. Similarly, another word like dentist, that's a doctor who specializes in teeth, in treating your teeth and your mouth and your gums. So the word dentist is composed of 7 letters. D, E, N, T, I, S, T. And it also has 7 sounds. These are D, E, N for the letter N, T, I for the letter I, that's a vowel sound, I, S for the letter S, and T for the letter T. So these 2 words, best and dentist, are 2 examples of words in which the number of letters is the same as the number of sounds. But in many words in English, the number of letters differs from the number of sounds. They are not equal, they are not the same. For example, a word like green, the color of grass, the color of trees. So this word green, it contains 5 letters, which are G, R, E, another E, N, green. However, this word contains only 4 sounds, only 4 sounds. So the number of sounds in this word is less than the number of letters. So the first sound is G for the letter G, and then R for the letter R, and then the 2 E's are combined into one sound. So we say E, green, green. So this long vowel sound, E, for the 2 E's, is only one sound, and then the last letter is represented by the last sound, which is N for the letter N. So in this word we have 5 letters, but we have only 4 sounds. Another example, the word bread, the famous food, bread. This word has 5 letters, B, R, E, A, and then D. So 5 letters. But we also have 4 sounds only, which are B for the letter B, R for the letter R, and then E. Listen to the word bread, bread. So that sound after the R, which is it represents 2 letters, E, A, because the word is spelled B-R-E-A-D. So E, A are combined together into one sound, and then the last letter is represented by the sound D. So this word, bread, has 4 sounds, although it has 5 letters. In some words, we have silent letters. A silent letter is a letter that's written in the spelling of a word, but it's not pronounced. So you write it, but you don't say it. It doesn't show up in speaking. This makes the number of letters in the word more than the number of sounds. For instance, we have a word like listen, which is purposefully using your ears to understand something verbal or understand an audio being said to you or something that's being spoken to you. Right. So listen has 6 letters, L-I-S-T-E-N, listen. But as you can see, the letter T after the S isn't pronounced. So it's silent, it's not said, it's just written. So in this word, listen, we have 6 letters, but we have only 5 sounds. L, I for the I after the L, S for the letter S, and then I for the E after the silent T, and then N for the N at the end. In some other words, you have the number of sounds more than the number of letters. For example, the number 6, which is the number after 5 and before 7. 6. This word consists of 3 letters only, S-I-X. But when we pronounce it, when we say it, we have 4 sounds. S for the S, I for the I, and then the letter X, although it's only 1 letter, but it's represented by 2 sounds, X, which is as if it consists of the sound K for the letter K and the sound S for the letter S. So this word contains a higher number of sounds than the number of letters composing it. So this was very key, or this was very important for you to understand the difference or the distinction between 2 key concepts in English, and these are spelling and pronunciation. Spelling is what the word is made of in terms of the letters. So for example, the word table, table. The spelling of this word is T-E-B-L-E. So the letters making up the word, the letters composing the word, this is the spelling of the word. So when I ask you, for instance, how is table spelled? What's the spelling of the word table? You tell me T-A-B-L-E. But when you say table, that's the pronunciation of the word table. So the pronunciation of any word is the way you say it, the way you produce the word with your mouth when you speak. So the pronunciation of the word table is just table. Also, another important aspect of pronunciation and spelling in English is something that we call homophones. Homophones are words which have the same sound, but they have different spellings. Now we understand the difference between pronunciation and spelling. So a word like no, this word can be spelled N-O, which is the opposite of yes, and it can be spelled K-N-O-W, which is a word or a verb that means that a piece of information is understandable to you. You have already heard it before, or seen it before, or read it before. So the pronunciation no, it's the same for the two words, but the two words have completely different spellings and completely different meanings. So no, K-N-O-W, and no, N-O, these are two words which we say about them in English, or we classify them in English as homophones, meaning that they have the same pronunciation, the same sound, but they have different spellings and different meanings, of course, because they are two different words at the end of the day. Also, another case is to have two words with the same spelling but different pronunciation. We call these homographs. Homographs are words which have the same spelling, the same shape, so when you see them, they look the same, but they have different meanings, like the words read and read. So read, which is the infinitive of the verb, is spelled R-E-A-D. And the past simple of it, the past simple of the same verb, is read, R-E-A-D also. So you have the same spelling for the two words, but you have different pronunciations. So we call them homographs. Homo, this prefix in English, means same, the same. So they have the same spelling, the same shape, the same look, the same spelling, but they have different pronunciations, because one of them is one of them is pronounced read and the other is pronounced read. So to wrap up the episode, or to wrap up the session, there's a difference between letters and sounds. The letter is the unit of language which is written. The sound is how you say or how you produce this letter when you speak. There is a distinction between pronunciation and spelling. The spelling is the letters making up a word. So the spelling of book is B-O-O-K. The pronunciation of it is book. That's how you say it. We also said that in English we have 26 letters in the English alphabet, but we have more than 40 sounds. So the sounds in English are more than the letters. We also saw examples of words which have a higher number of letters than sounds, and other words which have a higher number of sounds than letters. And we saw also words in which the number of letters is equivalent or equal to the number of sounds. We also came across the two concepts of homophones and homographs. Homophones are words which have the same sound, but they look different because the spelling is different, like no, K-N-O-W, and no, N-O. And we came across the concept of homographs, which is the words which have the same look, the same shape, the same spelling, but they are said or produced verbally or pronounced differently. They have different pronunciations, like read, R-E-A-D, and read, which is the past simple of it, that's spelled in the same way, R-E-A-D. I hope you enjoyed today's session, and I hope it set a good grounding or a solid foundation for you in your English journey. Pronunciation is very important, and you need to lay a lot of emphasis in it to be able to put your across correctly to the other people talking to you. I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.